Good evening. This just in from the TPT newsroom. Earlier today, Bob Chapek announced increases in the capacity to Walt Disney World theme parks in anticipation of Frank Cardillo's arrival to Orlando, Florida.
It's not about you. Tuesday. Not everything in Disney happening is not about you.
I think this one's a little bit about
You've been counting it. This is why we can't plan trips out too far. You've been counting down too long. Not everything's about you. But can you just start the show?
The increases.
Just start it. Just start the show. Just start it.
Live from New York, it's
Theme Park Thursday Live.
It's Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillos. Featuring Frank. And Jen.
Why? Why must I double click
was so
the video
quick.
every time?
Why are we back so quick? That didn't even end. What just happened?
Because I double clicked at the beginning and I screwed it up, so I was quick to the trigger this time. This is Theme Park Thursday Live with Dillos Diz. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I'm Frank, and for the next 30 minutes, we will give you a fast-paced, adrenaline-filled time talking news of the week, some of which happened earlier today, some of which happened recently, some of which have unanswered questions. There's a lot to discuss. In a salute to all theme parks, but mostly Walt Disney World. Well, actually, I think one of the topics will actually touch on a couple of different things later in this episode, depending on how the chat feels.
Okay.
Jen?
Yes?
Fresh from the beach, how are you?
It was lovely to go to the beach today. Kids had off from school, and I was like, we should do something. It's a beautiful day out. And I went to the beach, and I loved it. I loved every second of it. I should do that every Thursday before coming here. I got some freckles starting on the nose. It's exciting.
Spring is sprung. There's a lot of discussion in the chat regarding my ego.
Oh, well. I mean, has everyone been around for Dillos Resort?
Just saying it's a little convenient that these announcements came today, these suggestions, these ideas, knowing that I, at this time next week, will be closing down #AlwaysMGM.
Are you already a little depressed saying that, though? Because now it's over. This time next week, MGM, over.
Gosh.
For those of you who watch this on Vlogmas, you know that's how we end our Christmas days. We go Christmas, over, and we get really depressed. So basically, this time next week, MGM, over.
Over. And I think that's part of the reason why I've been having this constant battle with myself for no reason, where I have that window before Epcot opens on Friday morning at 11, where I'm going, can I make it to the Velocicoaster and back? Can I?
Yeah, I saw you tweet about this. What is this?
The park opens, Islands of Adventure opens at 9. I'm wondering if it's worth it to travel in the morning, first thing, get in the park, rope drop, get on Velocicoaster, get out of there.
Ugh.
And I did a ride through video today just to see, maybe I didn't, I would hope it would temper it. It didn't. Yeah. I was still like, I kind of want to do that still.
Yeah. So here's what happened when you sent me the ride through. First, I was like, should I watch it? Will I throw up if I watch it? I was like, let's see how long I can take it. So here's kind of, I had texted Frank and I said, I should have done a side-by-side video of my reaction watching this because I could feel it on my face. So initially they sit down and you can already see where they're going to go. And I'm like, I'm already scared. I'm so scared right now. I'm already scared just sitting here looking at it. But then as I'm watching this is my face. No. No, the whole time. And then there was a point where I went, no. And then that got upgraded to no, no, no. And there was just a progression of thing, a face, a head shake, a no. So I continue to be a no.
I had a couple of woes on there for me, for sure. Steffer says I can't ride it before her. I'm only incentivized now to show up next Friday.
Challenge accepted.
Just says that's just tight for time, isn't it? Well, that's how I roll, but that is an awful tight window for time.
All right, what time do you have to leave Epcot that day?
At like 4. So I'm only going to be in Epcot for 5 hours to begin with because Epcot opens at 11. That's the issue. If Epcot opened at 9, this isn't a thing. This isn't a conversation if Epcot opens at 9. Right. Because it opens at 11 and I actually have the window.
Right.
Do I drop the Uber cost and the 1 day, 1 park ticket and the blah, 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 blah. Right. I mean, I don't know where my connections are at these days at Universal.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
Problematic.
Stiffers, do I earn points as Frank loses them because I'm twinning with you from last night? You inspired me to wear it again. So.
That's very nice. All right, we got 3 topics. We'll hit the topics. The chat will decide, and I think it's going to come down to number 1 or number 2 first. Okay, so number 1, earlier today, Jungle Cruise announced its movie release date, and in conjunction with the Disney Plus premiere release. Number 2, second quarter Chapek. There was a second quarter business thing today with our friend Bob, and he had some things to say. And number 3, it's a theme potpourri. There's a couple of things coming down the pike this summer that we can touch on. I've mentioned a couple in our friendly little chats that we have on the side during the day. So, Jungle Cruise, second quarter Chapek, theme potpourri. What shall it be?
Please place your numbers of order you'd like to see these in. While they do that, can you remind Jeff of your departure day? That is the same day. Departure from Orlando. So yes, that's what he's talking about.
From Orlando.
Final day. Yeah. That's going to give Jeff a lot of anxiety. The thought of all of that.
Yeah. So the last day would be get up.
Yeah.
Go to Islands of Adventure. Ride the Velocicoaster. Go to Epcot for 5 hours, throw myself in the quiet pool at the beach club, get a shake if that window better be open by next week, Bob Chapek, and then do my series finale sitcom, turn around, goodbye as I get it in an Uber at the beach club and take it to MCO. Right. Does that give Jeff anxiety is the real question.
He said you're crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't done anything in 15 months. Why does it seem like I'll be able to do everything? It makes sense.
Right. Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah.
Number 1, Jungle Cruise movie release date. This is from Deadline. Disney's Jungle Cruise will debut in theaters and Disney Plus premiere on July 30th. We were hearing whispers yesterday that this was bound to happen before Disney's earnings call, which we'll get to in topic 2. The Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt movie based on the Disney theme park attraction is a big tentpole and franchise starter for the studio. That's where I want to take this conversation. All right. Can it be a franchise starter with the post-pandemic split release? Some people may get the premiere release. Some people may not. Is it more challenging for the Jungle Cruise now to become a bigger franchise because everyone won't necessarily see it together at the same time, like big movie, big weekend? Right. Now again, as the rules change, Fast and Furious, no pun intended for The Rock, this week in the past 10 days, maybe more people will be at the movie theater by July 30th. That remains to be seen, but considering there is still that split aspect of it with the premiere on Disney Plus, I question things a little bit because I want to see it succeed because I obviously love The Rock, big wrestling fan. I love Emily Blunt, so this is something I am excited for. I kind of want to see how this parallel changes of the attraction come with the movie's release. What say you, Jen?
Something in my throat. So I too am an Emily Blunt fan. I'm going to be honest, if it was just The Rock, I don't know that I'd be that excited about it. I like The Rock.
Mhm.
But I don't normally go, ooh, The Rock's coming out with a movie. I must see it. This one I'm feeling more like that about. So I do think, though, that regardless of how it's being released, I don't know that that would take away from whether or not it could become a franchise or some sort of little cult classic or something, because I think if it's there, it's going to be there. And I think so many people have Disney Plus now and are kind of now getting used to seeing movies that way and having movies released this way. So I don't think it would take away from that. I think it'll depend on the movie itself and how they do it, and if they do the ride justice, and what kind of comparisons people will start making to both and all that kind of stuff, which could be tough. I don't know who would be making such comparisons and scoffing at things.
Now, I couple of things, because we personally love in this household Mary Poppins Returns, but I think the Returns based on that film suggest that we're not getting another one of those movies for a little while.
Right.
Just saying it out loud. So yeah, together, I think Rock is a big blockbuster guy. You go on the first weekend, it makes a lot of money. Obviously, he has his hands in everything. He's going to be president in 8 years, but
Oh wait, no, that's I don't know.
That's like the premise of Young Rock. It is like the most meta thing ever, where it starts with like the tour bus, and it's like he's going around in the future, in the year 2032. Shilling to be president. I'm like, this is actually going to happen, people. You're being told what's going to happen. That comes from my theater teacher, my theater history, my stage management teacher in college, who would say that Hollywood was just preparing us for things such as when the X-Files and Independence Day were big in the mid 90s, Hollywood was preparing us for alien invasion. Anyway.
All right.
But I'm curious. I mean, I had very, 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 very low expectations for that first Pirates movie back in the day.
Yeah.
So if it's going to be along those same lines, I mean, I'll be in. But interesting.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll. Do you think it could affect? I mean, do you feel like it's really going to take something away from it? By having it on Disney Plus?
Well, I'm going to get on my old man pedestal here for a second, and it's where I live, and say, you're diluting things by having it in all of these areas. When you stream it and when it's in the movies, and when you can get it bootleg off the street, whatever, you're diluting the experience of it. So I don't know if something of this magnitude can get where it needs to be to justify whatever further financial thing they'll put into the parks and the attraction.
Yeah. Oh, Steffers is out. She's out.
She's not even interested in this movie. And she thinks The Rock is doing too much. What do you think of The Rock's tequila? The Rock's tequila is.
Oh, have you had that?
No, I want to. Oh. But it's always a display in my local liquor store, and I'm like, I just don't drink enough tequila to justify that.
I mean, but you get one bottle, it lasts you forever.
If I was 28, sure.
That was a really long time ago.
I'm totally fine. I'm totally fine with it. And so that's really where I am with it. And I think it's also interesting. I feel like we're setting up the Muppets and the Haunted Mansion for failure if the Jungle Cruise doesn't do well. If the Jungle Cruise doesn't do well, then people are like, we're not interested in anything with any Disney attractions as movies. And the Muppets will be like, but our Haunted Mansion special.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
I think I'm just keeping my expectations low.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. More to come on this when it's released.
By the way,
we'll do a movie watch.
Jeff recommends I rent a car on my final day because I'm thinking of doing too much. He's a little worried about my well-being.
Right, that's true.
Second quarter.
He's going to be worried that whole day.
Our good friend Bob Chapek was on his second quarter earnings report to call today.
Soapbox.
He indicated that this is from WFTV, the ABC affiliate in Orlando, Florida. He's already started to increase theme park capacity beyond its last reported level of 35%, and that the company would, following new CDC guidelines, continue to increase guest levels. It's based on a mixed bag, and we're pretty pleased to see more encouraging signs of recovery across our businesses. And then he hinted a little bit about mask wearing. Could we see, and then it makes people speculate all over the place about whether we would see the mask removals in the parks come the summer. Jen, you're thinking, you're plotting, you're wondering about your next trip to the parks. I think you're waiting to see if I come back alive. And the thought is, goes. And I don't want this to cause judgment. I'll say this as a preface. But should Disney announce, let's say within 30 days, that there will no longer be mask wearing outdoors? I'm not even going to say inside the attractions. Let's say once you get inside, you got to put on the mask. Outdoors, which we're almost there, right? Everyone's eating, they're drinking, they're taking pictures.
Right.
If they mandated the mask removal, does it alter any summer plans you're thinking of having?
But I mean, I don't think they would mandate a mask removal, right? They would just remove the mask mandate. Would they stop people from wearing masks if they wanted to wear masks? Probably not, right?
Probably not, right.
So, I mean, I don't think it would hinder the plans. I mean, I would still like to see them try to enforce it like in the shops, or even on the rides, on certain rides that are a little closer than, if they're going to start filling up Small World boats again, I want masks. But I don't think overall, like outside, I don't think it would change anything for me. And I think if it was just too crowded or I felt too close at that point, I think, I'm going to probably be bobbing and weaving away from people regardless, whether they're in a mask or not. My question is, he has it. Oh, that is true. And that was coming out of my mouth, I was thinking about that, Lewis. And that is interesting now. Like, does that change now? Because you could still see the eyes and it's not a full face. But I know during all the Halloween parties, you could never cover your face and all that kind of stuff. They haven't increased publicly. They haven't increased capacity, right?
Past 35%. No, but we our ear is to the ground, and we know people have gotten park reservations based on where they couldn't get them before. Suddenly, they've been able to obtain where they couldn't previously.
Right. And because he says we will continue to increase capacity, as if they've done it already. It's weird. So, to me, I'm kind of sad I didn't get to go in the early days of when it was just opening and it was just so empty and lovely there. I'll always be sad for that. But I hope it doesn't get to pre-pandemic days by the summer, because it already looks pretty crowded to me. So
yeah. I mean, it's hit and miss for me. Where I'm like, would I be comfortable walking around the parks next week outside without my mask on?
Right.
I don't do it here, so I
know
probably not.
Right.
I'm still not doing it. And even with the rules, and I saw Fauci speak earlier this week on something, and it's just like he's saying he's doing it. So it's like, if he's doing it, why am I not doing it? But it's just what's your own personal comfort level. So again, as we've been saying about everything, let's not cast judgments of why or why not at this point. But I think what gets overlooked, as we had with our Broadway discussion on the past week, is the idea of everything else that comes with it. Like, you could say, yes, sell your tickets at 100% capacity, but is a mask still mandatory? And you don't want to, whether right now when you buy the ticket, it says mask is mandatory. But should the mask then no longer be mandatory? What does that do to your purchase? Well, I purchased it saying it was mandatory. I'm still not going to be, there's a lot of nooks and crannies about it that I feel like I wish they would just have a plan, as I said on the podcast too. Just have a plan. If this is by this, we'll do this.
Right. Because I mean, today, like the CDC is saying, if you're vaccinated, you can go mask free under certain conditions. The conditions are you don't know if everyone is vaccinated in some place like Disney World. So I would wonder, I doubt it, but I would wonder, similar to what they're doing up here with like baseball games and stuff, where they're saying you have to show proof that you're vaccinated. Would they do that for Disney in order to have everyone come in and have no masks anywhere?
Absolutely
No.
not. They won't do
I
that.
know,
No way.
right? It's no. I mean, I already know, but like, it's interesting to think that like Citi Field is doing that, but like Walt Disney World. But I get it. But
there is a great effort made in these situations that you see to not want to make everyone angry, but you make everyone angry in the process. And that's what makes me a little nuts. Is like, you know, I know you don't want to choose to make the people who don't want to wear the mask that angry. Right. So you don't go all in. And you likewise, you don't want to make the people who do wear a mask angry either. Yeah. So you don't go all the way that way, like, and say, nope, we're good now. Outside, you can take it off. You 6 feet, you know, use the distance, mask off. You know, nobody is going to say either one of those things. So that's what makes me a little crazy about it. Is like, why hint? Why suggest? Why say anything? Which is what Chapek did in that call. Was like you know, try to shine a little bit of hope. It's like you don't have any real answers, so why suggest it and make both sides that much crazier? Right.
You're going to make everybody question everything.
Yep.
Interesting theme park grab.
Yeah, well, there's a lot about that too. So.
Yeah.
Vaccinations. Yeah. You know, and probably rightfully so. Why would businesses want to mandate vaccinations when they know they're going to get a lot of trouble about it?
Right. Yes.
And you can't really go wrong. So there's no right, I should say. You can't really go wrong. There's only wrong in these scenarios.
Right.
I just want to do theme park potpourri real quick. Here in New York City on June 3rd, a Harry Potter flagship store is opening. And yesterday they announced that in the basement they would have a butterbeer bar. It's at Broadway and 22nd Street. So I'm sure long term, you know, come the holidays, people are going to go to this store, hang out all day, and then go to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child at night. And it's interesting to me to see this all of a sudden, like it's gaining traction. So I'm scrolling through the Time Out article here at timeout.com. Part of the whole excitement around the butterbeer is the bar itself. When you enter, you'll immediately see a giant cascade of nearly 1,000 glowing butterbeer bottles that rise from the floor and appear to float over the bar. There are giant copper pipes that decorate the ceiling to make it look like the butterbeer is flowing through them. Non-alcoholic, mind you. It's not a Trader Sam situation for
wah, wah.
3 floating signs show the menu, which not only includes tankards for $10 and ice cream cups for $8, but also some snacks like incredibly designed cookies, from sorting hats to wands, as well as Hedwig the Owl and Froggy cupcakes. Let me just say, before we talk about the Harry Potter store, on that Velocicoaster video today, I didn't really appreciate seeing Hogsmeade in my views as we went by. Like we kind of swooped past Harry Potter a couple of times on the Velocicoaster. I was like, God, you are disrupting my themes right now.
Well, do you feel that way on Slinky Dog?
Not really. Do I feel weird about seeing Slinky Dog from Smuggler's Run? A little bit.
Interesting. Okay.
But I think I'm excited for this because I want to see more of this in New York City. Like, I'm big on immersive theater, as you all know. I love the interactive, fully immersive world. So I'm very excited for the store. I'm excited to see what this might spark in Disney. You know, we got a Disney store in Times Square. That's not that good. It's not that good. It has some stuff, but it's not that good.
No,
it could be way
better.
They
could be doing so much with that.
And Disney used to have a store on Fifth Avenue that was really good. It was huge, you know, and then it started costing too much money. And then they opened the Times Square, and it's more tourist based with Disney stuff than actually kind of giving you that Disney oomph. So I'm hoping Harry Potter gives a little kick to the Disney store in Times Square because of it. What we got here?
I like that. What Val said here.
Luis always says that Andy has. Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to look at it. I like it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good excuse for now. But Jen, we got the Harry Potter. Are you interested in? I mean, because your kids are heading towards, especially the 6-year-old who's going to be 7 a few days after this store opens. Are you excited for the store to open as a destination once the kids get into it?
Right. I'm excited for the long term of it. Mm-hmm. Yes. So, and it'll be interesting to just see how it starts off and see where it goes from there, especially opening now. It'll be interesting to see like the changes it makes over time. So
I am going to try to head over there on the opening day because the 5-year-old will be in school on June 3rd. So I am a little excited to see that. So we have 4 minutes remaining here on the very fast, the very quick half an hour, but coming up over on our Patreon page at dillosdizresort.com, you will all get to see. I'm hoping I can share the screen properly and play volume on the video. You will all get to see the audition I submitted for the Galactic Star Cruiser.
I haven't even seen it.
Jen has not seen it. No one has seen it. Mrs. Dillo hasn't seen it. How did this come
to be? Oh, because the last time we talked, you were like, guys, I can't do this. Did you just do it?
There were a lot of people tweeted me or DM'd me and were like, this is out there. You got to do it. And I was like, oh, I'm not allowed to move to Orlando. This is not a real thing. So then I scrolled through the audition notice and I was like, Mrs. Dillo was out. So when the 5-year-old went to bed, I memorized the monologue and recorded myself.
I see.
With the monologue. So that's what's going to happen over at the resort in a matter of minutes. See, I'll tease it right here. This is the part of the audition posting. That's all you get to see right now.
Oh, wow. Boom. Just like
teaser. And then we'll be back here. I don't know who's are you hosting the show by yourself next week? What are you doing next week? You guys try to remote me in?
We need to discuss what's happening. I know, because I think at one point you said maybe you would come in, but now MK is open later.
No. It's I'm going to be in Galaxy's Edge on Thursday night because
that was Magic Kingdom Day.
No, and I will be I will be in the middle of Galaxy's Edge at 8 p.m. So we'll try. So you might have to.
We'll see what happens.
You're like playing with your hair, all nervous, like, I got to do it by myself for half an hour.
Hi, everybody. We'll figure it out.
You'll hit the video better than I will.
I mean, that's not a guarantee. I screwed it up on the gray area quite often. Oh, guys, you can send us something. A postcard?
Anything.
We'll show an email.
We'll show it here on the air if you send it to this address. As noted. Anywho.
I guess I should check that often, right? That's something people are supposed to do is go back and check it. So I should probably do that.
I will be. I am somebody's second in Galaxy's Edge at 8 p.m. next week. They have an 8:25 reservation, so I am. We'll see where I'm really at 8 p.m. I think Jen has to be available, ready to go. So we'll set up the stream at that time. Does she know that I'm going to be? I am not purchasing a lightsaber or anything like that. But
does Mrs. Dillo know about the audition? I'm not sure which. He was questioning about him. Mrs. Dillo will watch all these and be like, what's wrong with you? Why don't you tell me these things?
100%. Like she did after the Zoom with Mark Hamill last week, where she was like, did you private message him? Because that's what the event was for. And I was like, no. Well, thanks to everyone in the chat. Good to talk to you all. As usual, Jen will be manning the front next Thursday night at 8. Hopefully I'll be able to chime in from Batu, be the first off-planet stream we will do, perhaps. The audition.
I'll be, juggling.
The audition is coming up over at DillosDizResort.com. Until that time, she's Jen and I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
Deuces.